This Projector tutorial will demonstrate the process of completing the Perceptions of Practice survey, which can be associated with projects that are submitted to the Office of the Great Barrier Reef. If you are using Projector for prospecting or exploring your options, you wouldn't need to fill out the Perceptions of Practice survey. But if you did want to fill one out, you would locate your collection containing the project of interest, here a banana collection with one banana project, and you would make that project active so that you can revisit the project details, review your survey options, and of course move right across to the Perceptions of Practice component of this project entry. It's interesting to see here that I've already completed an initial Perceptions of Practice, and I'm in here now to do the Perceptions of Practice survey post-implementation of my management practices. This is because the social monitoring associated with the Paddock to Reef program here is looking for how perceptions of uptake and engagement have changed over time. You can review the practice change responses for your project at any time when filling out the Perceptions of Practice survey, and they pop up in a convenient to read format here. The rest of the details on this screen are ensuring that you understand your right to privacy and how your data will be managed. We understand that all the information that passes to the Office of the Great Barrier Reef here is de-identified and no one will be personally identified. And of course, you can choose to not participate and submit that as a legitimate response if you like. But we'll assume for the point of this tutorial that you're going to go ahead and complete the survey. As we come through, we can see that this survey could be completed by perhaps a project manager on behalf of the land manager or the land manager themselves. And we'll assume that in this case the land manager is doing it. And back on the previous screen, in fact, a link could have been emailed to the land manager by the project manager if that was the way you chose to collaborate on this part of the survey process. We're populating our impressions here, our perceptions of the practice as we went through. When we get to this section on indicating the main reasons for undertaking the practices, you see that once we select three options, the other options are grayed out. The analysis of this Perceptions of Practice survey becomes quite complicated if you have too many options selected. And on this particular section here, in identifying the main challenges, again, we restrict you to 3 inputs, but if you do choose that there are no challenges, then you can see that the rest of the options get grayed out and removed from your selection. The final part of this process, again, is voluntary and you can choose to fill it out, but it moves into the demographic part and helps relate your responses in terms of your age profile, your career profile, and education. Again, we stress that this information is de-identified when it goes through to the Office of the Great Barrier Reef, although it is passed along with the practice change responses so that the data can be analysed appropriately for the Paddock to Reef requirements. If you have any questions on this, of course, reach out to the Office of the Great Barrier Reef or the Paddock to Reef Practice Adoption team. Once we've completed the demographic part of this survey and we're satisfied with our responses, we can choose to submit, at which stage our responses are saved. Now, when I come back into my project initially, I won't see a change in the status of my project. It's still showing that the Perceptions of Practice survey is incomplete. So I go back to my collection manager, or I could refresh my browser, and I find my collection containing my project, and when I make that project active, I see that my Perceptions of Practice survey is now complete and locked, and I can't change those values.